marketing. This is the big one. This is going to give you some ideas of where to go with your marketing plan and how you can start getting clients immediately. And now, I would encourage you to take out your business journal and just to take notes on the conversation that's to be had, because again, I can't give you the clients. I can't bring them to you. I can't build your caseload for you, but I can share with you what has helped me and how I grew my business. So let's just get started and write down questions that may come up, right? And as I'm talking or as I'm sharing examples, write them down so that you can reference them when you're thinking about your own marketing plan and how you're going to approach these people. So in your supplement material are examples of a script that you can use, are examples of building a program for to use in like independent senior living communities if that's where you're headed. Of course, this program is built around individuals trying to start an adult geriatric-based occupational therapy business. So a lot of my suggestions are going to come from that because that is my experience. But there are other entrepreneurs who do other things. There is no one right way to market. There's no one right way to get clients. And it is just about consistency. There is no secret formula. There isn't. You have to build clout. You have to build your community. You have to build your reputation, and you have to be present and consistent in your community in order to really build your presence. So let's get started here. So there's two things: online marketing and in-person marketing. Some examples of online marketing. So building a website. Oh my goodness, like how involved is website design? Oh my goodness, I get lost in it. Building my own websites, I completely get lost in it. I spend hours on my websites playing around with different elements, getting into the coding, trying to find the right plugin, right? There's so much involved in building a website that will define your business, make you present online in that virtual space, and also allow for easy communication between whoever finds your website and somebody wanting to get in touch with you. So between them and you lies that website. A lot of the times people are leveraging the virtual space so greatly right now because everything is virtual, right? So if you're not online, a lot of the times you don't exist. A website is crucial. You need a website. I can't even tell you how many times I've been trying to find information about a business, and if I find out that they don't even have a website, I think, like, how established are they? Or, do I really want to, if they don't have any kind of virtual presence, like, how trustworthy are they, right? People equate or correlate success with your online presence. So it's important to have a professional website, and getting to know that. I do give some pointers, some links, some hosting options in the ultimate checklist. But that is just, I use WordPress and InMotion hosting for all of my website needs, okay? But there are other website builders. There's, Wix. There's other website options that are maybe more simple than WordPress. WordPress is all I've ever used. I attempted to use another website builder in the beginning, but the hosting, the customer service was horrible, and I ended up losing an entire website that I spent weeks on. My website just crashed and I was back to square one. That was so defeating. I shared that story in another training, but you have to make sure that you have a trustworthy host and that you have a website that you can work with and manipulate very easily, because that's also where you're going to be writing blogs. Now, let's talk about blogging for a minute. Blogging to me, is essential. To many people, they find blogging to be essential because that is how you express to others your competence. You show what you know through your blogs. You provide free content, free helpful information. You put it via a blog, right? That's highly searchable using one keyword for each article. And that's how Google finds you to be more credible. As many blogs as you're writing, the more posts you have, the more time your site is going to be crawled, right, by Google bots, right? So having constant updates on your website is really important to boost your presence in Google, but blogging is also important to demonstrate your credibility. That's just another way for you to be out there. I would recommend, when you build a website, starting with at least 5 articles. Most, I always say start with 10, but bare minimum of 5. Just so that people have, once they arrive at your website, they're able to have somewhere to go and read about what you're offering in a more, in a larger way. Okay, so website blogging, SEO is search engine optimization, and that's going to be crucial. And it's just keyword searching. If you have a mentor, if you have somebody helping you build your website, that's a conversation you're going to want to have. It's good to kind of get a handle on it. Now, when I started, I bought books about SEO and I actually read them. I taught myself, right, how to be a one-man band, and there's a lot involved in SEO, so that's something to be aware of. Social media, what social media outlet's going to be right for you: Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, Twitter. Where is your audience, and how are you going to develop a following? You need to build your community, and a big way to do that is online. As much as people drag their feet, social media is what it is. You have to have a social media presence. Pick and choose. Don't try to do all of them at once because that's a lot, but definitely pick and choose which areas, which media you're going to use as an outlet. And then finally, virtual networking. LinkedIn is a good professional source. A while ago, I put a post on a social media outlet asking about the relevance of building a network through LinkedIn, a professional network through LinkedIn. Is it possible? Is it relevant for my business? And I received a response of no, not relevant. And yet I began cultivating my network on LinkedIn, and I have made some of my best contacts and best collaborators through LinkedIn networking. So building your network online is huge. Other people that are doing what you're doing, other people in leadership, opinion leaders, reach out to them and start building that relationship, because you never know who you'll need. You need people in your network. Like I said, entrepreneurship is not an island, so you really need to take time to network with people in your community or in your profession or what have you. Be known is something I would suggest to you. In-person marketing. So this is a biggie, especially if you're going to be a therapist, if you're going to have your own practice, whether it's mobile or brick and mortar. You're not going to get around networking in person. You have to be able to network. You have to be able to have a conversation. You have to be able to competently explain what you do, why you do it, and tweak your proposition to the person you're speaking to. Knowing how to communicate is huge. There are so many books out there on how to rearrange your verbal approach, right? Your communication approach based on who you're talking to or what your desire is. So it all depends on how you're approaching in-person marketing. For me, I'm always in a mindset that I'm not trying to sell something. I'm never approaching marketing like a pitch, ever. Because, whether they choose to work with me or not choose to work with me, whether or not they're interested in me, right? At the end of the day, I am so passionate about what I do that I just want to share information and I want to help. My biggest goal is to help the individuals that I am purposed to help. And I have that specific consumer, that specific person, my ideal client in mind, and whatever I can do to help them, whether they want to establish a professional relationship with me or not, that's okay. And you know what? When you approach it like that, and you're not pitching, but you're just genuinely listening to that other person, that opens so many doors, and people do, when they need you, come back around. Okay, so that's a huge tip for you. Some examples of in-person marketing: networking. So joining free networking groups, a lot of places have them. If you look online, you most likely will find at least five free marketing groups that meet for coffee or meet for a meal, and they network with each other, other small businesses, and that's who you want to get in with. You want to start cultivating relationships with other small businesses and be a part of your community in that way. Join chambers of commerces. Okay, do what you need to do to be a more present part of your community. Then volunteering. It's always good to offer your time and your expertise in a pro bono type of way. Anything that you can get involved with to broaden your network, but also be doing good and using your skill set for the greater good to show and demonstrate your value to the community. That's all ways of marketing yourself in a passive way. Materials. So you're going to want to think about what kind of materials are going to be effective for you. I have tried every kind of marketing material out there, and paper marketing materials, although they're great, honestly, for me, they're a huge waste of money, because unless I'm doing a presentation and unless I'm getting in front of the people I want to serve, nobody's understanding what occupational therapy is. Nobody's understanding my worth. I have to be able to speak with them. And that is how I've gotten to where I am, is by having a lot of conversations. I find brochures, and although people take brochures, I don't think that they're actually read. So I stopped spending money on that. Business cards are very important. And then I get like postcards. I will buy postcards because they're, relatively cheap and they get my point across. So I just keep refreshing different postcards and different themes or different areas of different specialized areas. And then finally, program development. This is huge. So my Home for Life program, this is how I started. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't getting in front of primary care physicians. So I went around them. I went to the people, and I went to independent senior living communities, because they are always looking for people to help. They are always looking for people to offer services. And I think that with your skill set, you are able to, especially if you're an occupational therapist, right? Because that's what I know. So I know that you have the skills necessary to develop programs, lead classes, teach on chronic illnesses. You can do so many things in a skilled way that you can really provide a lot of worth for a community. And that's a way to get a foot in the door. So building a community or building a program, offering it to communities, in return to, just have access to their people, right? To build a relationship with your people and possibly be that skilled professional in your building. That all starts with just having a conversation, developing a program, possibly for free. That's how I did it. And in return, you start building relationships with your core clients. So program development is a huge thing to consider when you're marketing. Okay, and finally, you are your own brand. Remember that. Remember that you are the face of your company. You are your company, especially starting out when it is just you. You are a solopreneur. Everything that you do, everything that you say, every time you go out of the house in public, you are your business. Your business is you. So remember to be professional, dress for success always, right? And be prepared to have a conversation. Be prepared with your motto, your tagline, and your value proposition for anybody that you may come into contact with. Okay, so that's it for online marketing, in-person marketing, and of course, all of these things need to be developed, and there's so much more to learn about marketing, but this is a great framework for you, and this will begin the conversation.